Hey everybody, Dope666 here. Been having a really busy few weeks, getting a lot of music prepared. If you keep up with me on social media at all, you'll see that my band Deceive The Dead just got done recording a couple new tracks with Josh Gilbert from As I Lay Dying. So if you dig melodic death metal, got some links down below. You should definitely go check out my band Deceive The Dead. And the rest of my band's links will be down there below if you like progressive metalcore or death grindcore stuff like that as well. But yeah, got a couple classic flicks going. Got a really large update. It's been almost a month or so. So yeah, let's just get into it. Start with some DVDs. First one here is Mermaid, Lake of the Dead. This is a Russian film. It's definitely not really a mermaid film per se. I forget what the Russian cryptid is that they're actually trying to portray, but obviously this American release, they called it Mermaid, Lake of Death. So it's more of like a demon living in a lake, possession-y sort of weird stuff. Good flick though, really creepy. I didn't mind it at all. So if you come across it, Mermaid, Lake of the Dead. This is actually a Scream Factory release too, so it was pretty good. This is from 2018. There for now. I hope you guys are ready to talk about some movies because this is going to be a long one. This next one here is Dorothy Mills is what it is. It's like to me it really reminded me of the story that Last Exorcism is based upon. I forget the name of that person that was exorcised and then died from it, but it really reminds me of that when I was reading about that sort of stuff. But definitely a more modern possession film, but not really as cliche. This one actually has a lot more of a plot than I actually was guessing it would. This really wasn't bad. So if you haven't seen it and you like possession movies, Dorothy Mills is pretty cool. Not bad. Alright. These next few things aren't so much horror, but they are horror oriented. I got some classic Casper and Friends. I don't really know when any of this came out, but this has like 4 episodes of really old Casper cartoons, and then a few other non-Casper cartoons. It's pretty cool. And then the Spooktacular New Adventures of Casper as well. Can't go wrong. Classic cartoon stuff. So this is all really fun stuff that I throw on during like Halloween or whatever. But yeah, fun stuff with that. Cool to find that sort of just cheesy, cartoony stuff. Alright, what do we got next? A couple of Slender cases here. This one's also not really horror so much, more of a crime drama. But it was, in a sense, proto-slashery. Some of the scenes in it, you could definitely take heed of like the proto-slasher sort of stuff, you know, developing around the same time. I think this came out in, I'm not really sure, but it looks like mid-70s. It's Incident on a Dark Street with William Shatner and Robert Pine and David Canary. Pretty damn good. Picture's a little beat up. Like I said, a little more of a crime drama than horror, but still a pretty fun flick. Not bad. Next one here is an Area 51. I should say the Area 51 documentary. This is Dreamland. The unauthorized features unauthorized footage of Area 51. This came out in like the mid-90s. It's pretty laughable. I'm sure it was pretty laughable when it came out, but even more so today. But still fun. You know, you really know what you're getting into. This if you're watching really cheesy ass, you know, Area 51 documentaries, this is probably the king of all of them. So, is what it is. Found it really cheap. Decided to pick it up. This one was kind of a disappointment. It's got Malcolm McDowell in it, which is pretty much the only reason I bought it. This is Island of the Dead. Not very good. I won't even really go into what it really is. You know, if you're like me and you gotta have it because it's Malcolm McDowell, then get it, I guess. But other than that, wasn't very good. Speaking of something I didn't think was very good, I finally just broke down and bought this because I found it really cheap, and I'm a completist, and I bought the other one, Get Out. So I finally went and got Jordan Peele's Us. Wasn't huge on this. Didn't think it was really a bad movie. Just, I don't know. It was so hyped, and I just didn't really get it. So, it is what it is. It was cool enough that I finally decided to make it part of the collection. So, there it is. Us. It's so stuffy in here. I'm going to open the window, guys. Alright. So here's something that Uwe Boll obviously made. He makes a lot of really trash movies, and he gets a lot of hate for it. But I've watched most of his movies with a grain of salt, obviously, and I can't help but like his cheesy bullshit. This one in particular is really, really, really bad. Super cheap production. Obviously, these, like, I watched the making of. It's actually got a making of featurette on here. This Zombie Massacre 2 Reich of the Dead. And everybody on the set in that making of segment, it really seemed like nobody wanted to be there for this, and don't even understand why this was made. They wanted to do something else and got stuck with this project. Apparently, specifically because Uwe Boll told them they were going to make this movie. Is what it is. You know, I like cheap-ass sequels to really cheap-ass movies. Really not against watching a lot of really bad movies so I can enjoy all the really, really great movies that I love. So, there's a place for everything in my collection, just about. Zombie Massacre 2. Only if you must. Okay. This right here is a really big reason on why this update's going to be really huge. So, I didn't even notice when I bought it, and I bought this for $1. And there's 20 movies on it. I only bought it because I pick up every single edition of Night of the Living Dead that I can find. Lo and behold, it's got all these movies as well. It's like 5 different discs. I showed you guys on my Instagram if you follow me there. And most of them I have. You know, I have The Devil Bat. I have Lady Frankenstein. I have Silent Night, Bloody Night. I have Satanic Rites of Dracula. I have The Terror with... what's homeboy's name? Jack Nicholson, obviously. I did not have The Devil's Partner, and I did not have House of Mystery. I did not have Bride of the Gorilla, and I know I did not have Sound of Horror or She-Demons, I don't think. I don't believe I had Monstrosity, Juggernaut, or Mesa of Lost Women. So really, this is just a really great pack. Everything that I just mentioned that I didn't have was tons of fun. I mean, I'm not going to get too specific in any of these titles. I only try to dig into a title if I own it singularly, but this was a really cool pack. So if you find it, there's definitely lots of classic stuff on here. Okay, got these next two together. This is another thin little case. I don't really understand that. But it's still got all the special features and stuff too. This was amazing, and the sequel that's here with it was absolute garbage in comparison. We have American Psycho and American Psycho 2. Obviously, that first one is absolutely incredible. What is that? Christian Bale. He's absolutely out of this world in this movie. The rest of the cast is on point. The whole movie is just a banger. You really see a lot of... the reason why this movie was so meme-ified on the internet. It's just perfect shot after perfect shot, perfect scene after perfect scene. It's a really, really good, weird slasher movie. And then they took the premise of that movie, and in the second one, decided to make it like a Mean Girls sort of... It felt so stupid. This came out in... what, 99 or 2000, I think? So yeah, and then this one came out in 2002, I believe, a couple years later. And it's got, what's her name? Oh god, how can I possibly blank on her name right now? Mila Kunis. So you'd think I would have liked it, but no, not really. American Psycho 2 was absolute travesty. Happy to have it. I'm a completist, but, you know, God, I really wanted to give it a chance, and it was just really, really bad. So, only if you really want to. American Psycho, though, you should definitely get the first one. Fantastic movie. All right. I guess I'm not taking as long as I thought. All right, we're gonna get into some Blu-rays here. This is an Arrow release. I'm meaning to get this film for a long, long time. Obviously, it's got the reversible artwork, double disc, special edition. But this is Brian Yosna's Society from 1989. This is an incredible body horror film. You don't really get too many of these that punch home like all the way, but this is definitely one of them. This movie is cheesy if you look at it in a way like that, but really, if you really place yourself in the character's shoes and you just look at this and like the acting in this for what it is really not bad. This movie slaps for sure. You should definitely check out Society if you haven't. Great to have the Arrow release of that finally. Okay, what do we got next? Next up, I'd heard so much about this. Obviously, Hereditary was really good. Not as good as the hype, obviously, but Midsummer. Decided to pick this up finally. Me and the wife watched it after putting it off for a while, because it's a really long movie, too. But I was just checking to see if there was a reversible artwork or different artwork in there, but there's not. Anyways, obviously this is like really similar to like The Wicker Man or any of those other like weird culty movies, but this takes it quite a bit further. This is a very, very gory, intense, strange flick, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm definitely gonna have to watch it a few more times to really, really dig into it, but this movie rocked. I loved Midsummer. Thought it was really, really good. Something that didn't really deliver as much. This started out really, really good, and then I feel like just kind of fell apart and didn't really, I don't know, it didn't have the momentum. It should have been chiseled down lengthwise, like in general. World War Z, like I said, started off really, really good. Honestly, starts off a great action-packed zombie flick, and then kind of just deteriorates, muddles around until I just didn't really care where it ended, I guess, but it is what it is. Finally got it. Finally saw it. Brad Pitt in World War Z. Oh, alright. This is the only Blu-ray that's like not really horror. It's more of just an action, strange flick. Saw this in theaters years ago. My wife really wanted to see it, so I found a really cheap Blu-ray of it recently at a pawn shop or something. Picked it up. This is Inception. I love Leo, so of course had to add this to the collection eventually. So, glad to have it finally. Like I said, not horror, but pretty good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. Not bad at all. Not going to talk too much about it, though, because it's not horror. Okay, these ones are also not necessarily horror as we get back into these DVDs here, but they are about horror, like infamous horror directors. So we've got Hitchcock and Ed Wood. Both of these are fantastic for their own reasons. Hitchcock is really like realistic, I'd say. They really tried to give you the full vibe of what was going on in those moments, I'd say. Who knows how faithful it is, but the cast did a really good job at recreating the characters they're supposed to, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just a pretty damn good flick. Then we have Ed Wood with Johnny Depp starring as Ed. So this movie is just out of this world bonkers at points. Whole cast is on point. This one was definitely way better than Hitchcock, in my opinion. Yeah, if you haven't seen it or you don't know who Ed Wood is, you need to pick this film up. Check it out. Good stuff. Okay, what do we got next? The Beach House. This is a little lacking, in my opinion, as far as cosmic horror film like flicks will go. But still, I watched it quite a few times. I was really interested in it. Just wanted to dissect it a little bit. Definitely worth checking out. Not the best Shudder release that I've seen, but still pretty damn good. Should definitely check out The Beach House if you haven't. Another contemporary, sort of new horror movie. Yeah, it's definitely like slashery, character study-ish for sure. This is Ma. This wasn't bad. Started off where I believed it was going to go, and then it definitely went around the premise that I figured it would. It wasn't exactly, I don't think I had it completely figured out or anything, but not fantastic. Just a really fun flick. Ma was alright. Should definitely check it out still. Been chiseling away at the dozens of releases in this series here. I just got number 4 for my last update, I think, and I just zeroed in, finally picked up an import of Amityville 5, The Curse of Amityville. This was cheesy, of course. The first, 3 Amityvilles are awesome. The 4th one's really cheesy. This one's really cheesy. I imagine most of the ones that come after this are really cheesy, but I'm still going to keep picking them up because I love a complete collection. And, who doesn't want to watch, haunted house movies if they're there to watch? May as well scoop it up if you can find it. So, Amityville 5, good stuff. Fun enough to pick up. Man, it is so stuffy in here. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. This is from 1971 or 2, I think. The artwork is definitely not faithful to the caliber of the film, and I don't even know if you can see it. My lighting is really bad these days. But The Beast in the Cellar. This is definitely a 70s flick. It's really dry. There's not much going on to it, and the film quality in this release is actually pretty bad too, so you kind of struggle to hear some dialogue. But for what it was, I always like to find a nice little obscure 70s throwback, so The Beast in the Cellar. Check it out if you've heard of it or, sounds decent to you. Like I said, wasn't great. Definitely check it out, though, if you're into, cult 70s films. Alright. Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton in Frailty. This movie was pretty damn good. Did not expect it to go the way it did, and what can I say? Great cast, great plot, wraps up pretty nicely. This was a solid flick. I don't want to ruin anything about it because it was really, really good, and if you haven't seen Frailty, damn, do yourself a favor and check it out. I know I'm a little rushy, but there's so many films. We've covered so many films, and only got a few more here. Got this 4-pack, 4 sci-fi movie marathon. This has Arena from 1986, I believe. When did that come out? No, actually, Arena is 1989. Then we have Eliminators from 1987. America 3000 from 1986. And The Time Guardian from 1987. These are all really, really micro-budgety sort of flicks from the mid-80s, late 80s. I believe Charles Band's got his name on a few of these. I don't know how involved he is in these newer releases, but this is a total fun, cheesy, just great time. If you're into cheesy ass 80s movies, this is the holy grail right here. All of these have something to offer in that realm, and I'm not going to get too in depth with them. Like I said, I don't tend to go into depth with films that I don't have singularly, but really great pack. And if you're looking to dip your toes in the water of this area, like I am, you should definitely scoop it up. Great Scream Factory, Shout Factory release. I think it's just Shout Factory. Saw this the last time I was in Vegas. My buddy Anthony picked this up, and we all sat back and watched it. This was hilarious and brutal. This was just a fun werewolf flick for sure. Absolutely hilarious. The guy, who's the star in this? What's his name? I don't know what his name is, but like I said, the lead in this movie is hilarious. If you like werewolf flicks, you'll like this a lot. If you don't like werewolf flicks, you'll probably still like this. This was a really good time. So check out The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Relatively new release. This came out, 2020, just last year. So good flick. Glad I picked it up. All right, we got some. I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's from the 90s. This is Stephen King's Sometimes They Come Back. I've been told about the sequels to this, and this is a TV movie as is, so it's not great. Charming little flick, definitely cheesy for what it was. I really enjoy it, though, a lot. I've heard really bad things about the sequels, like I said, and I'm definitely going to seek those out, too, because that's the kind of shit I love. So, like I said, if you're really, really into Stephen King adaptations and you only like really good ones, maybe best to hold off on this one. But if you like classic cheesy-ass TV movies, this is definitely up your alley. Really fun. Something from the 40s here. 1941, we have The Ghost Train. This is a hokey, funny, stupid little movie from the very early 40s here. Definitely boasting a lot of the charm. Not so active of a horror film, for sure. Like other movies from this period definitely tend to layer the horror elements a little bit heavier, but still a fun flick is what it is. It's more of a... Like most of these movies in the 40s always had some Nazi subplot, and that's exactly what this turns out to be. It's like a Scooby-Doo movie with like the big bad Nazis like operating behind the scenes and making the eyeballs and the pictures move and shit. So that's what that is. The Ghost Train. Fun stuff. If you're into that period of horror. Alright. Oh man. This film was shot in 87 and they didn't finish it until like fairly recently, and they finally released it. This is a pile of trash, but a very attractive pile of trash for sure. This is Channel 13, kind of an anthology sort of shot on video thing from the late 80s, and it's a bumpy ride for sure. If you're not into really micro budget stuff like this, it's just shot on a video camera, would tread lightly for sure. Maybe stay away like completely. But those of you that like shot on video cheesy ass 80s stuff like this, oh, treasure trove for sure. Channel 13, happy to own it myself. So there it is. These SRS home video releases always have really cool artwork and the classic little horror sticker somewhere in it. So it's like it's a rental movie from the back in the day. This is just, I love releases like that that do that sort of artwork, so cool to have it. Definitely going to pick up some more from that series. Alright, last one, guys. We got one more film here, and I was really, really excited to get this one. This is a total cliche, what I live for. Like, the end of the 80s and slashers don't mix, and that is my favorite type of movie. Like, the most cliche, cheesy, stupid slasher movies, that is what I live for. And I finally found Moonstalker for like a couple of bucks. It was actually a sleeve when it came to me in the mail, so I had an extra case and I just cut that sleeve in half, and then I made it its own little spine. I don't know if you can see it there. And then, you know, the artwork on the disc is cool and whatnot, so just made my own little actual case for it. But this is a, like I said, total cliche, just like body count movie for sure. Some of the kills are not so great, but there's some passable kills as well, some decent gore. Acting is atrocious, obviously. The premise is absolutely stupid as fuck. But for those of you that just really, really enjoy cheesy-ass slasher movies from the mid to late 80s, this is talk of the town for sure. Moonstalker, 1989. And that's about it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to do an update is. Hopefully it won't be quite as long as it took for me to get this one up. But we'll see. I know it's been almost a month, so I was eager to finally talk to you guys about these films. And hope you guys had a good time. Let me know if there's any films you want to talk about below, or any questions you might have about my bands, anything that's going on in my life. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So hope everyone stays safe and is doing well and whatnot, and I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll see you guys later. Dope666 out.